All right, and we're back. So, just to recap, week one, I did pretty well. 10-5-1 against the spread. Not so good. Over and under at 7-9. Hopefully, we can do better this week. I made a pick for Baltimore -1, Westgate, and the over of 44 points. Just to recap, I like Baltimore here, just looking for revenge from late last season against Cincinnati. Otherwise, this looks kind of like a coin flip, but I feel like Baltimore might have a slightly better team. And then the over/under, these games tend to be pretty close. I can definitely see it going over, but just because it's early in the season, they're healthy. That's why I'm leaning a little towards the over. But I'm not in love with any of those. But if I had to pick one, I'd definitely pick Baltimore. But I'm not in love with the over/under here. Okay, so going through this really quickly, Indianapolis at Washington. Look, one of my rules about betting on football, and I put it this way: if you're not sure who's going to win and you have points, then often it's correct to just take the points. Seriously. Excuse me. You could try to guess and pick who you think's going to win. But if it could go either way, like if you want to go, well, I really do think Indianapolis could win this game, possibly, then, and you're getting 6 points, you probably should take the points because you're really looking at a 50-50 coin flip situation plus the points. On the other hand, if you have a game where you're fairly certain one team is going to win, even if it's 6 points, 8 points, 13 points, a lot of times you got to think, not only are they going to win, but they're going to win big. So you got to kind of take that into account, and of course you want to take into home field advantage, which starters are playing, what I've been talking about recently, rookie quarterbacks, rookie coaches, new systems, any sort of, edge where you can kind of discern, which team might be able to have an advantage of the other. Truth be told, the NFL is a quarterback and coach league. You win with a star quarterback and you win with a coach. Can you win with defense? Absolutely. But consistently, you win with a coach and a quarterback. Usually those great defenses only last for a few years with, Seattle. But, Tom Brady, you've got a great quarterback. He's going to be great for 20 years. So, all right. So going back to Indianapolis at Washington. Look, I can make a justification for either one. Washington looked great against Arizona. Indianapolis looked okay. But you got to think, does Indianapolis have a chance to win this game? You never want to count Andrew Luck out is the thing. I've been waffling back and forth on this. Like, I think Washington is solid, especially with Alex Smith. They're not going to make many mistakes. So Indianapolis would basically have to beat itself. But, does Indianapolis have enough talent to overcome the talent on Washington? It's really, really tough call. Part of me wants to just stick with Washington just because I'm not sure Indy has the talent, but I like Andrew Luck so much that I feel like he can single-handedly keep this game close. And so that's what I think is going to happen. Because I do feel with Andrew Luck, they do have a chance to actually win this game. So we're going to go Indianapolis +6. The over-under is 48. I like the over just because if Indy's going to win, they're going to have to put up points here. They're not going to win with their defense. Okay, next, Carolina at Atlanta. Right now I'm looking at Atlanta -6. That is, a lot of points for a division rivalry. We just looked back to last week, Tampa Bay versus New Orleans, and I think New Orleans was like 9.5-point favorites, and they lost outright. So as much as I think Atlanta will probably win this game, Carolina, that's a lot of points to cover, and I think Carolina could very well win this game. So I'm going to take Carolina +6. The over-under is 44.5. That's kind of a big spread for a lower-ish point total. I like the under here. Carolina, has a great defense or running team. It seems like Atlanta had a pretty good defense last week against Philadelphia. So I like the score to be on the lower side. Carolina keeps it close and either wins or loses by 3 points. Okay, next thing we have Minnesota at Green Bay. This is off the board most places because I'm assuming they're not 100% for Aaron Rodgers. But come on, let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I mean, if he came back the same week with that knee injury, he'll just play, but with a knee brace. I mean, he's the difference maker here. I liked Minnesota. I think they looked pretty good. Kind of a carryover from last season. Their defense was good. Kirk Cousins played respectably. Green Bay really, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers or nothing. But, if we're looking at these again, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers versus Minnesota. If Aaron Rodgers plays, I like Green Bay, just to edge this one out. And right now, the one or two things I'm seeing, it's a pick. Looks like a pick 'em. So if you're going to pick 'em, taking the home team, Green Bay, it's always tough to win in Green Bay. Over under 46 points. This is probably going to go. It's really tough. Probably slightly over 46. I can see this being a defensive game, but I could see in the fourth quarter, 2 or 3 scores and going back and forth to keep this game going over. All right, next we've got the LA Chargers against Buffalo. Buffalo looked atrocious last week. They started Nathan Peterman. Now they're starting Josh Allen, rookie quarterback. I mean, if you saw what happened to Nathan Peterman last season against San Diego, but that was, or I guess LA Chargers, but that was in LA. He threw 5 interceptions. It was ugly. Look, Josh Allen might be slightly better than Nathan Peterman. He's not going to be that much better. Buffalo should, if they're smart, just rely on the rush game, keep the score low, run out the clock, and then take their chances when they can. But even though they're playing at home, I don't like their chances. I'm taking the LA Chargers minus 7.5. It's a lot of points against the rookie quarterback at Buffalo. It may be foolish, but I just don't see Buffalo having a chance to win. I really don't. I mean, anything can happen in the NFL, but because I don't really see them having a chance to win, I can't really justifiably take them. And the over-under is 43. It's kind of low, but if there's another like 3 pick sixes like they had last season, that'll run up the score very quickly. So we're going to go over 43. Then we've got Houston at Tennessee. Look, this week is not easy. I'm not going to lie. I don't love Tennessee. They just lost their starting tight end to injury last week. And Houston, they were down by 14 to the Patriots, and then you got a fumble recovery, scored a touchdown after that. They're respectable. I don't think they're great. Houston's favored by 1.5 points. I mean, this is really a coin flip. I could see this going either way. You could take the home dog here. I was on Houston for a while just because I really not loving Tennessee, but we'll go with Houston. Tennessee is their new coach. I don't know if he's got it figured out yet, even though they're going to be home. Houston minus 1.5 and over under is 44.5. I like this to go under. Both teams are going to be more rush oriented, defensive oriented. And then we've got Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's favored by minus 4.5. Over under is 53. Now look, Pittsburgh didn't look impressive last week, but you have to remember that Ben Roethlisberger plays horrible on the road. I don't know why. The last 3 or 4 seasons, he's just played terrible on the road, amazing at home. I expect that to continue. Kansas City lit it up last week. They looked fantastic, and I think they'll do the same this week, but I just think Pittsburgh will be just that much better as well. So I'm looking for a back and forth shootout, and I expect Pittsburgh to win this one. And I don't really love 4.5 points, but if I had to pick a team, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh minus 4.5. Over under is 53. If I had to pick one for this game, I would probably pick the over 53. I just expect this to be a shootout. That way you don't care who wins. You just want a lot of points to be scored, and I'm pretty sure a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. Next, you've got Miami at the New York Jets. Oh my gosh, the Jets defense looked amazing last week. And then Miami looked surprisingly solid. They had good special teams, good defense. I don't know how much of that was just Tennessee not playing great. So it's a little bit curious to me that this game opened as a pick, and now it's the Jets as high as -3 some places. Or I guess now it's back to -2.5 with the Westgate. That worries me a little bit. So if it's truly a pick and it's been bet up to -3, then you're just giving away value at this point because, the sports books don't really make mistakes. But after such an impressive victory, everyone must be all over the Jets, especially at home. You got to remember, the Jets are still starting a rookie quarterback, Sam Darnold. What if Miami's smart and go, hey, let's let this guy beat me with his arm? Put 8 men in the box, make him throw it, see what he can do. So I, don't love picking either one of these teams. And like I said, if I feel either team has a chance to win, I got to pick the points. So I'm going to take Miami +3, over under is 43.5. We're going to go under. And it's because I think Miami is going to force Sam Darnold to beat them. And we'll see if he can beat them. And I'm not sure if he can. It's just too much value. And don't get me wrong, I actually really like the Jets, and they may even win, but to give up 3 free points it's just too much value. So you got to take the value pick here, take Miami. All right, next we've got Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay surprised a lot of people last week. It was a complete shootout. I think I looked at the box score. I think they had 10 possessions, and they punted on 1 of them. So they scored literally on 9 out of 10 possessions. So that showed how atrocious the Saints defense was. Philadelphia has a much better defense, but they're also on the road. And so Philly's favored by 3 at most places, -3.5 at the Westgate now. You got to love Philly still, the defending Super Bowl champion. I don't really love 3.5 points, but at 3 points, I'd still pick Philly here. Again, a home underdog. It's hard to go against Tampa because, it could go either way. And look, I might be going to against a little bit of what I said. Tampa Bay have a chance to win. Yeah, they have a chance, but I think Philly has a much better chance. So we're going to take -3 Philadelphia and the over-under at 44. We're going to go over. I think, even though Philadelphia can keep this score pretty low with their defense, I like Tampa Bay to be able to put up a few points in the fourth quarter and have it just go over 44. All right, now we have Cleveland at New Orleans. Okay, well, look, if New Orleans defense is as bad as it is, they're going to make Cleveland look amazing. Josh Gordon's going to light it up for like 3 touchdowns or something crazy. So probably expect another shootout. We'll kind of get to see if Cleveland is any good, actually, at least on offense, because if they can't score against New Orleans, then I don't know what's going to happen. So over-under is 49. Again, if I were to pick something, I'd pick the over on this game, over 49, just because just how bad New Orleans defense was. Sure, could they figure it out this week? Of course, anything can happen, but I like the over. But if I have to pick, over 49 versus, let's say, New Orleans -8.5. This is really tough. I think New Orleans should win this game. Should they win by 8.5 points? It's not a division rival. Probably. I don't follow me on any of these picks this week unless I specifically tell you something that I like, because this is such a tough week. I think we've got to go with. I'm sorry for the. We got to go with New Orleans -8.5. Despite losing outright, they're still getting that many points. there's a reason for it. So New Orleans -8.5. All right, next we've got Arizona at the LA Rams. Arizona looked terrible last week. The Rams looked pretty good, especially in the second half against the Raiders. I think the Rams have a lot of talent. They really do. Arizona, I think they have a fair amount of talent as well. But again, they've got a new coach, kind of a new quarterback, new system. They kind of figure it out. I expect the Rams to win this one pretty easily. Again, it's division rivalry, so it might be close for 2 or 3 quarters even. But again, I expect in the third or fourth quarter, Rams to run away with it. So, it's tough to give up 13 points, but I still am going to give up 13 with the Rams. It's just too many. They're just too good. I think just too much talent. Over under is 45. And again, if you've got a 45-point game and there's a 13-point spread, the Rams would have to win something like 30-10, to both cover that and go under, which is certainly possible, but it's such a narrow margin of victory that it's much more likely that they're going to score a bunch of points and go over the 45. So we're going over 45, Rams -13. All right, next we've got Detroit at San Francisco. Oh my gosh, was it Matt Patricia's new team? He got embarrassed last week. The Jets were saying they knew his plays. I don't know. San Francisco, they played respectably against a pretty solid defensive team on the road. They're going to play better at home. What was it? Marquise Goodwin, who's injured, so I don't know if he's going to play this week. So that was their number one wide receiver. But Kyle Shanahan, he's a offensive-minded coach. He's going to find a way to move the ball around, put some points on the board. So the question is can their defense hold Matthew Stafford enough times to find a way to win this game? Probably. Can they do it for 6 points? I don't know. I could definitely see Detroit. Either Detroit is going to keep it close, potentially win, or they're just going to get embarrassed again, and then Matt Patricia could be in the hot seat already. So and I'm a San Francisco fan, so I have to be a little bit careful here. I'm just naturally biased. So I'm going to take Detroit +6, not because I don't really expect them to win. I expect San Francisco to win, but I just expect Detroit to kind of keep it close or score a garbage time score in the end, keep it within 6 points. But I'd actually expect San Francisco to win. If I were going to just play in the money line, I would just pick San Francisco. Not that it's a good play. And the over-under is 48. San Francisco, again, played respectable defense. Detroit, a lot of those points they give up was pick sixes and turnovers and whatnot. I like this to go under 48 points. The San Francisco offense has been a little banged up. I'm not sure if they'll be firing on all cylinders. And then same, I don't know if Detroit's got it all figured out either. So unless there's a lot of turnovers, I like this to go under 48 points. So we take Detroit +6, under 48. Okay, now we've got New England at Jacksonville. So again, this is another revenge game. Jacksonville's pissed. They lost to New England in the playoffs. Rightfully so. They had a very good chance to win that. New England, they're always going to be good. They're always going to be solid. They're always prepared. But their offense is a little bit of a who's who mash unit. You don't know who's going to be playing, who's going to be the star, which could work out to their benefit because they don't know who to stop. But Tom Brady is going to find the open guy. It's just a matter of people are they going to be able to step up, step to the plate and find a way to win. So this is pretty tough. I could definitely see this going either way. And right now I'm seeing it as a pick. Literally, you could pick anything. It opened as a pick. I think it went up to New England -2 or something. Now it's back to a pick. Flip a coin, whatever you think. I'm going to lean New England because usually they find a way to win. I mean, that's just Bill Belichick. That's Tom Brady. If you got to find an edge, the edge is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So we're going to lean New England with the pick. Over under is 45.5 points. This could be a low scoring game, but I like this to go over actually, kind of surprise, a little contrarian, so kind of surprise people. You'd think this game will be close. They got good defenses, but I think Tom Brady can find a way to score points, and Jacksonville can, or if there's turnovers, it'll go over. So we're going to go 45.5 over. It's a little unusual there. All right, and we got Oakland at Denver. Oakland, hung with the Rams for a half. Ball control offense. They did okay. In the second half, just the wheels fell apart. I don't know what happened. It just, they got to figure it out. They traded their best player away. I don't know. Denver, they've got a young team, good defense. They've also got a new quarterback, Case Keenum, new to Denver anyway. It's tricky. So Denver opened at -4.5. Now they're all the way to -6. It's a division rivalry game. Usually I don't like division rivalry game spreads to go more than about 3 points just because the teams know each other. But, Coach Gruden is kind of back to the drawing board here. I am not sure if what we saw last week was a fluke or not, but if it's any indication of what's to come for Oakland, they're in for a world of hurt. So I got to take Denver -6. I really just don't think Oakland is going to win this game unless, John Gruden pulls a rabbit out of his hat and figures it out. But, I'm not sure if the way they played last week, they're going to be able to figure it out. So we're going to take Denver -6. Again, division rivalry, come back to bite me because, like I said, I don't really like more than 3 points in those games, but it's the way it goes. And then over-under is 46. We're going to go with the under, low-scoring game. I expect Denver to win this one like 24-10 or something like that, or 30-10. Comfortably win, but at the same time, keep it under 46 points. All right, now we've got, I believe it's the Sunday night game. We've got New York Giants at Dallas. Dallas, the problem they have right now is, the same problem that a bunch of teams have. They got to find their identity. They're a rush first team right now. They got Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. They got to run the ball, but everyone knows they got to run the ball. So you got to make Dak Prescott beat you with his arm. And I think the Panthers knew that, and they did that last week, and he couldn't. So the Giants, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. They're going to keep that same playbook. Division rivalry game. They're getting 3 points on the road. Giants typically play Dallas really tough, especially in Dallas. I just like the Giants here, +3 in Dallas. Over-under is 42.5. I like this game to go under. I expect kind of a ground and pound running out game from both sides again, with the Giants to win this one kind of comfortably after the third or fourth quarter. Once Dallas just gives up because they can't throw the ball. They just can't do it. Not enough offensive weapons and talent to make it happen. Can't just run the ball every time. So unless that offensive line wakes up this week, I like the Giants here and the under. All right, in the last game, we got Seattle at Chicago. Chicago looked pretty good when Aaron Rodgers was out. I think they're up by 20 points and then lost in heartbreaking fashion. Seattle had a pretty close, tough game against Denver. I think Doug Baldwin's hurt. So, this I would expect to be kind of a similar game to Giants-Dallas, like a rough and tumble, beat them up, try to figure it out type of game. Chicago's favored by 3.5 points. Like, wow. Like, I feel like because this game could go either way, like, I feel, Chicago's probably slightly favored here, but getting 3.5 points in the NFL, I'll take it. Give me Seattle +3.5, even though on the road, even banged up, they're a defensive-minded team. They like to keep the scores low anyway, and the over is 43. Monday Night Football, though, normally I'd say we'll go under, but Monday Night Football, people are playing to the fans. We're going over 43. All right, thank you very much. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for listening. All right, we'll see how we do this week. This is a really tough week. It's early in the season. It's really hard to pinpoint exactly which team's doing whatnot. So, sometimes when you can't figure it out, you got to figure out, okay, who's the better quarterback, or who's the better coach, or is this a division rivalry, or what's the recent trend? So you got any edge you can kind of come up with is kind of what you have to take to try to figure out these games. And, this is a really tough week, but hopefully with this logic, I'll go 16-0 or 0-16. So we'll see. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.